We often say there's nothing new under the sun, but times feel extra hopeless these days. And there's a group that's doing something to bring new hope, love, and forgiveness into the world. And that's the campaign behind He Gets Us. And my guest today, Jordan Carson, is going to talk to us a little bit about these unique campaigns and how they're helping to restore the story of Jesus in modern day. Jordan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Sami, thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. I mean, let's just get to this. I mean, I kind of led in by saying things feel really heavy right now, like heavier than they've ever felt. But what I've loved about the campaign behind He Gets Us is that in some ways it's saying these are the same problems that Jesus dealt with. And so before we get to that, can you just tell us a little bit about how this campaign got started?
Yeah, and you started it right off and you nailed it on the head. Things have gotten really heavy and really deep. And we think it's time to get back to what's really important. And so He Gets Us is really a movement that started a little over a year ago. And it's a group of people coming together to really reintroduce Jesus, the Jesus of the Bible, to people who might be skeptical of Christianity. And then also to call upon Christians and have Christians self-reflect on how they're treating others. And is that really the confounding love that Jesus emulates in the Bible? And are we a good reflection of that love?
Yeah, I know when I first saw the commercials, I was like, wow, this sounds like Jesus. But I'm seeing these modern day images, subways and people in the streets. And it's like, who's behind this? I think that's one of the questions I keep getting asked is who's even behind all of this in the first place? And why was there the need now to do this?
Yeah, I think there's such a huge group behind this. And it's all groups of people that are very diverse, but they all have that commonality to want to talk about Jesus and point people to Jesus and the real Jesus of the Bible. And why now? Because why not now? You and I and many other people are seeing on national news, local news, social media, just the need is there so heavily right now, especially. And Jesus, He understands us. He gets us because He lived a life where, we're seeing in those commercials, He's dealt with a lot of the things that we're dealing with today, confrontation, being wrongly judged. And so we're taking a modern day twist on those advertisements that you're seeing on air in some of the biggest sporting events across the country. And we're showing how He understands, He gets us, and he knows what it's like to be human.
Yeah, you said, I think there were two commercials that aired during the Super Bowl. And I know, if I can say so too, I know there's some people that I've heard that have criticized the campaign for not being, it's been too high level of Jesus, or it's not pointing to the truth enough. But I know as someone that came to Christ in my 20s, one of the things I appreciated was that my story is my story, right? We could argue back and forth about the Bible all day, but you can't argue with my story. And I feel like, from my perspective, the commercials have been such a great entry point, especially for someone that might not know who Jesus is or might have a skewed version. What would you say to the people, maybe some of the critics out there that are saying it's not enough or it's not heavy hitting enough?
I think that we use the Super Bowl in that way because it is the largest platform of any sporting event in the United States. And so what we wanted was, it really happened. It was to start a conversation. And so we had 2 ads in the Super Bowl. And the first one, the game was tied 7-7. And so people were glued to their television screens. And it was all about being more childlike, not childish, but childlike. Like Jesus said, if you watch children, they don't judge. They love each other. They're always hugging each other. We see that. I have a child of my own, and I see that confounding love in children. And so the first ad was all about that messaging. And then the second ad was more about confrontation. And so it was really to start a conversation for people who might be skeptical of Christianity or someone who doesn't know Jesus. And to go to the website, at the end it said hegetsus.com, where people could go and learn more information about the campaign and even read Bible verses, have someone pray for you. There are so many different ways to get involved in this campaign. And, you were asking, how did this kind of why I
Right.
think it was the question, why the Super Bowl and why these big sporting events. And we wanted to start that conversation. And in fact, Google searches during the Super Bowl, looking up Jesus ad was up 4,500%.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's incredible. And then the second ad that aired, and it had this song called Human. The song is powerful. It is memorable. The search for that and the download for that song was over 9,000.
Wow.
And so that, out of all of the other research that we are so heavily grounded in, that told us, along with all of the other numbers, that it started a conversation.
Sure.
And people were leaning in.
Yeah, Jordan, before I let you go, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the tragedy that we've all experienced here in the Nashville community with the Covenant School shooting. We have just less than a minute, but can you just encourage our audience today with how this campaign can really help those that are hurting in any kind of tragedy today?
First off, I want to say, from my heart, we are standing with you, and we've seen on national news, and we really are praying for you and everyone in Nashville, and everyone that has been touched by the tragedy. I think that, like we said at the beginning of this interview, now more than ever, we need to come together. We need to treat each other with that confounding love that Jesus loved with, and how he treated everyone and welcomed everyone to the table. And so people can learn more about that, learn more about Jesus and everything that this campaign stands for by going to hegetsus.com. And right now is really a crucial time for everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure to go to hegetsus.com for more information. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you so much, Sami.
Yeah.